My name is My name is Hannah, and this is my no-buy year. So I recently filmed the latest video in my Shop My Stash series, and I also recently filmed a bunch of footage for my upcoming video about how I handle my hair. And this video, even though it was inspired by my filming of the hair video, is probably going to go up before the hair video because there was so much footage for that hair video. It's so massive. I think I might actually have to split it into 2 videos, but it's kind of overwhelming me and my computer and my capabilities. So I'm having to kind of figure out some alternative methods for dealing with the footage from that hair video. It's definitely coming soon and it's going to be very thorough, but in the meantime, I have continued to film and I've continued to have ideas. So there are a bunch of other things that are going to go up before I manage to get myself together to finish the hair video. So I got the idea to do another much shorter series of check-ins using the same palette every day for a week. And I had just shopped my stash for the Urban Decay Moondust palette. And one of the reasons I shopped my stash for this is that I was interested in figuring out how to incorporate glitter for day. I wanted to wear some daytime glitter looks with this palette. This palette also challenges me because it's a rainbow palette. It's not just glitter, it's colorful glitter, and I don't usually wear half of these kinds of shades, especially not for daytime. The other thing that happened this past week, besides me wearing Moondust shadows on my eyes every day, is that I received a package in the mail from a subscriber. And I had been chatting with her on Instagram. She basically reached out to me and said that she had been really inspired by my channel to start letting go of things that she wasn't using, and her relationship with her makeup was changing and she was really excited about that. And she also had some things that she was letting go of in her collection that she thought that I might like. So she asked if she could send them to me and I said yes, because I thought it would be fun to have some new things to review. And also it was just really lovely to connect with Wendy and hear from her and hear her story and hear that she's been inspired and that she's been doing so well lately with her relationship to shopping and her relationship to makeup. So the package came and she asked me if I could film my reaction to opening it, and I was like, yeah, sure. I didn't really understand why she was asking that, and then after I'd opened the package I understood why. So this video is mostly just 5 days of Moondust, but there is a little interlude in the middle in which I unbox this care package. Let's go ahead and get into the meat of the video. Hey guys, it's Monday, the first day of 5 days of Moondust. I think that's what I'm going to be calling this. I just finished putting on my makeup and I thought I would go with something kind of simple to kick off the week. So I used Lithium, which is, to me, kind of the most wearable color in this palette. So the most wearable shadow, maybe with the exception of Spectre, which looks like almost nothing on me. But Lithium is this beautiful kind of bronzy gold, which is a color that I frequently reach for on like a casual daytime basis. I have very little makeup on the rest of my face. I used this Clinique Chubby Stick. It's an 01 Hefty Highlight. That's something I shopped my stash for. I've actually been pretty impressed at how much of a wet look this gives. And I actually don't even have any base makeup on my face today. I woke up with pretty clear and even skin, so I have a little green color corrector on, but I didn't even actually conceal today or, of course, use any foundation. And then on my lips, I'm wearing the Glossier lip gloss, which is another thing that I shopped my stash for. So to complement Lithium from the Moondust palette, I reached for my Wet n Wild Comfort Zone palette, and I used this eyeshadow up in the top right-hand corner. It doesn't look very shimmery in the pan, but as many of you know, this is an all shimmer palette. So it's actually a very, very shimmery pale taupe color. And I kind of like the all over shimmer eye look that includes the glittery Moondust shadow. So I have that shimmery taupe buffed almost all the way up to my eyebrows. And then I put Moondust on my lid and blended that up above the crease because I have hooded eyes. I'll zoom in so you can see the look. I also have a mixture of those two eyeshadows buffed out on my lower lash line, and then on my lashes I have put the L'Oreal Voluminous Curved Brush. This is the original L'Oreal Voluminous. It's the brown mascara that Tara sent me, and I'm loving it more and more with each day that passes. So this is today's look. I feel fresh-faced and ready to start the day with a little bit of grungy sparkle on my eyelids. Morning, guys. It's Tuesday. I woke up this morning feeling all excited to use the green in the Moondust palette today, and then I remembered that I actually have a video conference call with some people related to my grant writing work in a couple of hours. So I've never met them before face to face, so I didn't want to come on there with like sparkly green eyeshadow out to here. So I decided to go for a more subtle look today, but I still wanted to use the Moondust palette. So what I did was I reached into the most subtle color in this palette, which is Spectre, the one that's like a light pink with sparkles that I've never used before. I've played around with it in Makeup Playtime, but I've never really tried to figure out like how to actually make it work. So I did that today, and I actually really like it. I've sort of figured out how you can make use of it, or how I can make use of it. So I started by just patting that in a really thin layer over top of the middle of my lids right after I had applied my lid primer. And I will say that my eyes held up really well yesterday when I put lithium all over the lid, way better than I expected. And I think it was because I had only gone in with one thin layer. I hadn't layered it on at all. I just had stuck down one layer of that shadow, and actually it looked pretty much just as good at the end of the day as it had at the beginning of the day. So that's pretty amazing, especially for shadows that are so packed with glitter. So armed with that knowledge, I just patted a layer of Spectre all over my lid, and then I went in with lithium again, the bronzy one, on a finger, and then I pushed that in to the outer corner of my eye and then up onto the outer corner of my lid. And I went all the way up onto my lid because I have hooded eyes. So if you have hooded eyes, do everything that everyone else does down on the lid, up on the space between your mobile lid and your eyebrows. Basically, that's how I do it. I'm sorry about this barking dog. I can't wait for it to stop because I have to get on with my day. So I did that. That was the base that I put down for this look. And then I went in once again with Comfort Zone, and I took the same taupe shadow from the upper corner, but I buffed out the edges much more lightly today. I didn't use that color to make as dark of a shape on my upper lid as I did yesterday. I really just gently used it to buff out the darker shadow in the corner. And then I used the ever so slightly touch of this dark brown just along the lash line in the very, very outer corner of my eye, which I actually also did yesterday. I just forgot to mention it yesterday. Cat hair. Then I put all three of the darker shadows onto my lower lash line. I didn't put Spectre on my lower lash line, but I did put the other three. And then I went in with mascara, and that was it. On the rest of my face, I'm just wearing a little bit of color corrector, spot concealer, and the Kevyn Aucoin Neo highlighter all over my cheeks and bridge of the nose. And on the lips, I wanted something nourishing, natural, subtle, but complementary, like neutral. So I went for my Bite Beauty lip crayon in the color Glacé. I'll zoom in so that you can see the eye look. I really like this eye look, and it's something that I definitely wouldn't have done if I hadn't been shopping my stash for the Moondust palette and trying to make use of the Moondust palette in a daytime appropriate way. Wish me luck on my conference call, and I will be back tomorrow morning, hopefully sporting some sparkly green eyeshadow. Hey guys, so it's the third day of 5 days of Moondust, and surprise, I'm wearing a full glam on a Wednesday morning. Yesterday when I was talking about using the green today, I had forgotten that it's actually a photo shoot day today. We are doing a midweek photo shoot. We usually do our shoots on Fridays, but everything's all jumbled up right now because we're preparing for 2 tango festivals that are both happening in the middle of October. So I put on my photo shoot makeup, and I didn't want to wear the green. It's actually quite a strong color, the green in this palette, and I didn't want it to compete with the different looks that I'm wearing for the photo shoot. So I decided to go with something a little bit more neutral. I used Galaxy, which is my favorite shadow in this palette, as you can see, because it's been destroyed and I've already hit pan on it. And so that's the Moondust shadow that I have on my lids, and I'll zoom in a second so that you can see the look. I dipped into like 4 different palettes while I was making this look, so I don't think it makes sense for me to tell you what all of the shadows are, but I think that the only other one of interest is the inner corner one, the one on the inner lid. Are you gonna go get the car?
I'm gonna go get the car.
Okay.
Lunch?
I'll pack it.
Okay, I'll be back.
Okay. So that shadow on my inner corner of my lid, the one that's like a whitish blue, is this old thing from the Marc Jacobs palette, that duochrome shade right there in the center. I talked about that in my Shop My Stash. Probably, that video probably went up recently. Anyway, I also have on my old ABH dip brow in the color Chocolate. Today I actually kind of painted my brows on with it, and I think that you can really see that it's too warm for me, especially in contrast with this cool toned eye look. But I'm so tired of using eyeshadows to fill in my brows that I've just started reaching for it. I think I might actually start mixing it with some cool toned eyeshadows to get a slightly better shade, but it's not as bad as I remembered. It's not as bad as I thought. And then on my lips, I put on this eye look, and then I was like, I really want a super, super pale, kind of porn star, peachy concealer lipstick color to go with this eye look, and I don't own anything like that. If you watched my lipstick declutter, you saw that I had one pale peachy nude, which was NARS Honolulu Honey, and I decluttered that because I never wear it. And then go figure, today I sat down and I was like, only that color will do. So I mixed it. I used this Wet n Wild gel lip liner in the color Bear to Comment, and I actually mixed it with my MAC eyeliner in NC15 and W20. So I used this cream colored eyeliner, which I also have a little bit of in my eyeline today actually. I mixed these two to get this lip color, and I'm actually kind of living for it. Who would have thought? I'll zoom in so you can see the eye look. It's a little smudgy around the edges, a little messy, but you know I'm all about that life, and I think it'll be great for the photo shoot. I'm probably going to wash this face off and apply another face, a much more casual daytime face, because I'm meeting a couple of friends for dinner tonight. So I'll actually check back in, because if I do that, I'll use the Moondust palette again. I'll do something a little more casual for dinner tonight. So the next check-in should be this evening. Hey guys, so as predicted, that photo shoot makeup was looking real crusty by the time I got home. We did the shoot around 11 this morning, and then I had to stay and continue to work on sewing. So we got home at our usual 5:30, and I showered and I washed my face, and then I put on this look to wear to dinner tonight. So I decided to use the warm kind of orange tone in the Moondust palette. This second shade down here is kind of a rusty, shimmery, golden transition shade. Well, it says eyelid in here, but I'm imagining it, I have imagined it as a transition shade, and I felt like that would complement this warm orangey one, which is the one that I'm talking about. I think of it as orange, but I think it's also kind of a pink. It's the one called Element right there. So I looked at the Comfort Zone side by side with this, and I saw this look in my mind, and so I decided that tonight would be a good opportunity to try it out. So I used that warm golden orange, pale orange sort of. It's kind of an unusual, wonderful color. I used that to deepen my crease and bring my crease higher than it is naturally, but only a little bit. I didn't go too crazy with this look. My two wonderful friends that I'm meeting for dinner One is a cellist and the other is an investigative journalist, and probably neither one of them will be wearing makeup. So I didn't want to really do the most, didn't want to look too shocking because I want to fit in. So after I had created a shape that I liked, I went into Element with my finger and I just tapped it on my lid. And again, I really tried to just put one layer. And then I actually also used Spectre, the pink shade, just on the inner maybe quarter of my lid to give it a little bit more dimension. And then to deepen up the outer corner, I used colors from this. I used the dark brown, and that's pretty much it. I'll zoom you in so you can take a look at the look. It's very sparkly and it's kind of a pinkish orange. I like it. These aren't usually the tones that I go for, so it's fun to be pushed out of my comfort zone, but still be able to cling to my glitter. So I'm going to add a little interlude into this video right now, a little unboxing. This came to my workplace and it's been with me all day and I haven't opened it. I waited until I could bring it home. I waited until I could change and get this new makeup on and start filming. So I haven't cracked into it yet. I'm gonna open it right now and see what's inside. She says, "Hi lovely, I really hope everything arrives safely to you. I am super excited and happy to give this to you. I really believe you will appreciate this much more than I." I do know that she had a few things that she was decluttering from her collection. Decluttering was part of what she had been inspired to do by watching my channel. So I think that that's what some of these things are, things that she thought that I would get more use out of. And I did tell her that I'm happy to review anything. So I think that's what she's talking about. "Thank you for all that you have done for the beauty community. You are truly a gem, and I wish you all the success in the world. Much love, Wendy." Thank you, Wendy. I feel like, I feel all mixed up. They're little wrapped things, so I don't want this to take too much time in the video, so I'll kind of try to go quickly. So this is the Becca Blushed with Light palette. It's a blush trio palette and it looks unbelievably gorgeous. Oh, it has the colors Wisteria, Songbird, and Snapdragon. And actually Songbird is a color that I have lusted after. I'm shaking, my hands are shaking. It's so beautiful. This is an Hourglass ambient lighting blush. Something else I've always wanted to try in Radiant Magenta. Oh, it's so pretty. This is too much. What is my life? I don't even know. Oh, this one looks like it came shattered. Oh, it's so pretty. Yeah, so it's Jouer Rose Quartz. And actually, this looks like something I might be able to repress, which isn't something I've done a lot of, but I'm highly motivated to try to repress this. So I'll report back about how that went. Oh, this is from Jouer too. I've never owned anything from Jouer. Look how gorgeous this is. So this is Seduce Me and Tease Me. It's the Jouer Blush Duo. So pretty. This is just unbelievably pretty. Oh my gosh, this is also something I've always wanted to try, the Tarte Chrome paint in Martini. This is on my Sephora Loves list in a serious way. Oh my gosh, what a texture. I cannot wait to put that on my eyes. I think this might be another chrome paint. I think there are a couple of them. It's really shiny. All right, I'm not gonna swatch everything. I need to stop swatching everything. I'm just so excited. And then this one's Park Avenue Princess. So that's 3 Tarte Chrome paints. 3 Tarte Chrome paints, which is a style of product that I have been really lusting after lately, so that's amazing. Oh my god, Wendy, I don't even know. It looks like there's one more thing in here. Oh, she says read last after you open everything. I think that this is the last thing. No, no, oh my. No, you guys. She sent me her star palette. no, I see what she meant in the note. I think that you will love this more than I do because this is so incredibly precious. I'm literally stunned. I don't even know what to say, which is a thing that never happens to me, as you know. I'm gonna read the other note. Thank you for helping me learn that it is okay to let go of stuff. I know this will bring you more joy than it ever brought me. Enjoy, can't wait to see what you do with these. I can't even live my life. I had no idea this was gonna be this. I hope this little segment doesn't just take over this video, but gosh, I barely know what to do with myself. Wendy, thank you so much. This is unbelievably precious, and I cannot wait to dig into these shadows and see what I can come up with and review them and be able to talk about Natasha Denona's shadows on my channel. Wow, this is amazing, and it gives me a lot to think about, and it gives me a lot to play with, and I need to go to dinner now, so I will check back with you guys tomorrow after I have put on my morning look using the Moondust palette, although it's going to be kind of a challenge now to continue to use the Moondust palette this week. Hi. Sorry if you can hear noises. Joe is listening to Rachmaninoff and doing the dishes. I, in spite of great temptation to wear the Natasha Denona Star palette that Wendy sent to me today, am following through with my 5 days of Moondust plan, and today I'm wearing the green. It's called Light Year, right there. It's such a pretty shadow, and it was kind of an interesting challenge for me because I do like color in eyeshadows when I'm doing more elaborate looks, photo shoot looks for filming. I will often build a look around a bright color, but I don't conceive of myself as a person who wears bright colored eyeshadow for daytime. So in order to wear this green Moondust eyeshadow for daytime and feel good about it, feel like I'm still myself and I still look like myself and I still have the aesthetic of the self that I'm going for, I thought a lot about how to build a look around this color and then how to work with this color to make it work for me. So here's what I did. I only put this one color eyeshadow on my eye. It's the only thing. I packed it onto my lid. Actually, I didn't pack it. I tapped it gently over my lid in a single layer, and then I used a brush to buff more of it by dipping the brush into the shadow up into the crease and out all over my lid. I also buffed a good bit of it out on my lower lash line, and I've actually found that with brighter or more editorial colors for single eye looks, buffing it out on the lower lash line really helps to make it look more intentional and more editorial and less like a little kid that got carried away with a bright green eyeshadow. So on the rest of my face, I put barely any makeup. There's nothing in my brows except for clear gel. I did just the tiniest bit of spot concealing, just the tiniest bit. I really, really wanted my skin to look bare. Coverage on my face plus an eye look like this would really look like a makeup look on my face. And I kind of wanted to just look like a grown woman who casually decided to put on some sparkly green today for a bit of fun, rather than someone who sat down and kind of built a whole look all over her face with a product everywhere. So I really put almost nothing on my skin, and I don't know if you can tell in the camera, but in person, it looks a little bit blotchier and more textured and less even than it usually does because I made that choice. But I feel like that bare skin, that natural flawed skin, is actually what I want to complement this eye look. So I'm happy with how it came out, and I'm glad that I made that choice. I did put one thing on my skin, however, and that is this Jouer highlighter that Wendy sent me. And here's an update from last night. This was the one that arrived broken. I actually don't have any rubbing alcohol right now, so I wasn't able to repress it in the proper way, but I went ahead and just pressed it into the pan using my fingers, and I think it wouldn't have worked for something like an eyeshadow, but because this is such a creamy formula and there seems to be quite a bit of emollient medium in the base, it was pretty easy to gather all of the product back together and sort of smush it back into the pan. It's probably delicate. I don't think I would throw this in my bag or take it traveling, but I think that it's gonna be fine. I think it's actually perfectly serviceable for use at my vanity, and it's probably a little bit delicate, but it's not super fragile. I mean, it's in really good shape. The surface is a little bit rough, but other than that, it looks exactly how it should look, and it performs exactly how it should perform. So this is the highlight I have on right now. It's the Jouer powder highlighter in rose quartz, and so it's got a tiny bit of pink, so it did add perhaps a hint of color to my face because I didn't put on any blush. Blush is the other thing that I would not have put on with this eye look, because I feel like blush, especially because I'm so fair, it can make me look really made up really fast. But some glossy highlight I think goes really well with this eye look, and gosh, what a beautiful product. Thank you again, Wendy. It's just, I'm so overwhelmed still about this. Everything is here on top of my vanity. It's so beautiful. I feel really lucky. I don't really feel deserving, but I have your note here on my mirror next to Tara's note, which is also on my mirror. And so I keep looking at it and reading where it says, I'm super excited and happy to give this to you. I really believe that you'll appreciate it more than I. And another part of the note says, I know that this will bring you more joy than it ever brought me. So I keep reading those parts of the note to understand why this has come to me. This gift has come to me. And yeah, it's bringing me a tremendous amount of joy. So I'll zoom in so you can see the look. So I haven't worn Magnetic, the purple, or Vega, which is the kind of rich cobalt blue. Those are the two shadows that I haven't worn. So I'm gonna have to put them both on my eyes tomorrow, unless I do a second eye look tonight for filming or something, in which case I'll actually check in with you tonight and show you that look.
For $30, and it's one of those things where
I'm watching Genevieve Fields. Do you guys watch her? I love her channel. She's so fun to watch. Anyway, I was just putting this makeup on for filming tonight. I'm about to film my collab with Georgia Harris. I could not be more excited. And I went ahead and used the Moondust palette because I only have one day left, which is tomorrow, of my 5 days of Moondust, and I had two strong colored shades that I hadn't used yet. One is the purple and one is the blue. So I decided to go ahead and use one tonight and then one tomorrow, and then I will have used all of the shades. So I used the purple from Moondust. It's called Magnetic, and I hit pan. I just hit pan on it just now when I was doing this eye look. So that's the core of the look on my eyes right now. But if you think that I didn't use the Star palette for the rest of the look, then you would be mistaken, because that's exactly what I did. So I reached into Diadem. Yeah, Diadem, which is this. I used that. I used the cream colored shade a little bit. I used one of the browns. That's pretty much it. Oh, and then I used one of the sparkly, which one? I used Polaris, one of the sparkly pinks in my inner corner. You get the general idea. And I like it. I think the Moondust palette and the Star palette complement each other fairly well. On my cheeks, I actually have another one of the products that Wendy sent to me, which is this Hourglass Ambient Lighting Blush in Radiant Magenta. This is really interesting because it's not a color of blush that I would normally be drawn to. It's just so pink. And I tend to be drawn either more to shades on the orange or the rusty end of the spectrum, or things that are more mid-tone, nude type of blushes, bronzy type of blushes. This is just something I would never have picked out for myself. But it is a pink that's swirled with a bronzy color, and when I put it on my cheeks, it looks quite natural and it really brightens up my face, and I'm actually really loving it. So that was exciting. That's special. I decided to go without a highlight. This is slightly illuminating, and I just feel like there's kind of a lot going on my face. And then on my lips, I'm wearing NARS Pussy Control in honor of Georgia, because it is my most out of the box lip color. I'll zoom in so you can see the eye look. I love the purple eyeshadow in the Moondust palette. I really, really like this shadow a lot. I think it adds the perfect amount of kind of exciting pizzazz to looks like this while still keeping it somewhat sophisticated. And I maybe don't mean that in the way that people usually mean it. I just mean that it's not like the green where it's like, wow, color. It is color, but it's color in this kind of sultry way, and I'm into that. I'm gonna go ahead and film my other video, and I will see you tomorrow morning after I have applied my final look for 5 days of Moondust. Hi guys, so it's Friday morning, the last day of 5 days of Moondust, and I managed to use the blue shadow. I also realized that I hadn't actually used the gray or the black that's in this palette, the one called Granite. I have used it since I shopped my stash for this palette, but I hadn't used it this week, so I used that one today too. So that's this one, Granite, and then the brighter blue right there. These are both blue, but Galaxy is kind of more of a Prussian blue, and then Vega is more of a cobalt. So I didn't want to go overboard. I was kind of wary, actually even warier than I was of the green yesterday, because I feel like a cobalt blue like this, especially one with glitter in it, can very quickly become like an 80s prom look, and I didn't want to look like I thought I was going to a prom in the 80s. I am just going to work on my writing in a coffee shop and then work on my sewing in my sewing studio. So I'll go ahead and zoom in so you can see what I'm talking about better. So if I half close my eyes or tilt my head back so that you can see the whole eye look, it looks like a lot of eyeshadow, and it even looks like a lot of blue eyeshadow. And you can see that I've, you know, put it all over my lid, blended it out, blended it into the crease, just like everyone does on YouTube when they're demonstrating an eye look. But if I look straight on at you, look how all of that eyeshadow just disappears back into the socket of my eye. And this is what you see. And this I've left bare, which I don't usually do. So usually when I'm looking straight on, if I'm wearing a full eye look, you can still see a lot of eyeshadow and my eyes look quite big. And that's because I've usually put eyeshadow on this part of my hooded eyes to create the illusion. But today I actually chose not to do that. I chose to leave this blank so that my eyes just look a little bit less made up. Even though I'm wearing sparkly blue eyeshadow, I just look a little bit less like I'm wearing a full eye look. It looks a little bit more casual, a little bit more daytime appropriate. And you can see I've used the black Granite in the outer corner right here. And then I used a transition shade. I used actually that same shade Diadem from the Star palette up here, not high enough to destroy that hooded eye impression, but I brought it up here just to blend it out. And then I actually even tapped that Moondust, the black shadow, on top of it to add a little bit more sparkle. And then on the rest of my face, I just have color corrector, the smidgiest smidge of spot concealing, and in spite of the dramatic temptation to use some of the beautiful blushes and highlighters that Wendy sent me, I decided to behave myself and I used the Clinique Chubby Stick, which is something else from my Shop My Stash project. That's the only thing that I have on my face in terms of color cosmetics. And once again, I'm incredibly impressed by how wet it looks. It's not tacky, but it's very wet look. And then onto my lips, I put a NYX Butter Gloss in the color Tiramisu. So that's the whole look for the last day. I like it. I feel like I successfully integrated that cobalt blue shadow into a daytime look. I feel like myself. I feel like I can confidently wear this out into the light of day. And that is it. That is how I wore the Urban Decay Moondust palette for 5 straight days in a row, and a little bit of footage of me being rendered utterly speechless by Wendy sending me her Natasha Denona Star palette. If you haven't guessed, I'm actually wearing the Star palette on my eyes today. I'm filming this video on Friday evening, so this is the last day of 5 days of Moondust, and I hadn't yet gotten a chance to actually put on a full eye look using the Star palette because I've been wearing the Moondust palette all week. So when it was time to get ready for this video, I couldn't help myself and I created this, my first ever full eye look using the Natasha Denona Star palette. But I did want to mention how I felt about using the Moondust palette all week. I did want to review it a little bit for you. The first thing I think it's important to say is that I was impressed by how well these shadows wore. I was expecting them to be crumbly and creasy and flake off because they're really glittery. And as I mentioned a couple of times during the week, just one thin layer patted on actually wore really well throughout the day. And I also had the experience of having my eyes water a little bit and having the watery eyes not disturb the eye look really at all. And I think there's something about the hardiness of the grittiness kind of these glitter shadows that made them more immune to leaky eyes than some of my other formulas are. I enjoyed all of the looks that I came up with. I was especially impressed by Spectre, which is one that I've never used before. I was surprised that I was able to use that shadow in a way that I enjoyed so much. I'll review this palette some more when I do my next Shop My Stash video because I'll probably use it actually even more between now and then. I'm considering making this a series. I don't know if I'll be able to pull it off every single week, but I think the next one that I might do is a week of red lipstick. So let me know if you have any other ideas, like a week of blank, a week of something or another, or if there's another palette that you'd like to see me wear for a whole week, or anything that you'd like to see me do for a whole week, filming my check-ins and showing you how I managed to make that product or that type of product work on a daily basis and in conjunction with other things. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you'll remember to take extra good care of yourself this week so that you can be the most effective version of yourself as you do your work in the world.